I just wanted to answer some of the questions that I know you all might want to know about me. I'm always, like I said, interviewing other people, so I figured I might as well kind of semi-interview myself. My sweet friend Ariel is here. Hey, Ariel. So we'll jump right in. I'm sure people will join when they have time. I know this is kind of a tricky time because sometimes folks are eating their dinner right now. So just to share a little bit about me, and I tell everybody this on all of my lives, that it is something like when it comes to things like interviews, can't remember anything. So even though I ask these questions a lot, even though, hey Ariel, even though I ask these questions a lot to my guests that I have, I don't know them by heart. So I'm going to just go ahead. Hey, Mimi, my mom's on now too. Thank you for joining. So we'll keep this relatively short, but I just wanted to actually go live and share a little bit about me and how I got started. Yes, I am live. So, and I did get a couple of questions, pre-submitted questions, so I'll also answer those. But hi, Lisa. I really love Lisa. Have safe travels, Mimi. So just to talk about me, my name is Taylor. As you guys know, most of you already know me or we've met here on IG. So I am a mom, a wife, and I am a blogger. I've been blogging now since 2016, actually, which is so weird to think about because when I first got started blogging, my blog at the time was called The Gift of Mastery. And so the whole point of the blog was to share my journey toward mastery of self, right? And funny enough, I was in a really dark place. When I started that blog, I was like, it was a dark place, but I was living at the happiest place on earth. I was actually working at Disney. I was an intern at the time. Well, no. Sorry. I was not an intern at the time. I had finished my internship and I was working at the company for a while. But I was like, it was weird. You know, everybody always thinks like you're either super depressed or you're overly happy. And I don't think that it always needs to be one or the other, like these polarizing emotions and feelings. I think sometimes we can feel things and be somewhere in the middle. And I think when we're living in the middle, sometimes it can confuse us. So I was kind of in the middle. I was like in a really horrible relationship that was extremely toxic, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And then I was also working at Disney, which was like the joy of my heart. I loved working at Disney. I loved what I did there. So I was in like that middle place and I started my blog, The Gift of Mastery, at the time. It was focused on like these pillars of mental Mondays. So it was all about your mentality. And then, hey, Haley, my friend Haley's here. So then I also had like mental Mondays, workout Wednesdays. So I'd talk about working out. And the whole point of the Gift of Mastery was to think through mastering yourself in these key areas. And then Fridays were Financial Fridays. The funny thing is, like, along the way, I realized there's no true mastery of self. Like, we can never truly, my hubby's here. Hey, hubby, even though he's like 5 feet away from me. But there's no such thing as like mastering self. And I had to learn that, funny enough, in the experience of writing that blog. So thinking about sort of starting my blogging in 2016 to where I am today, I still consider myself a blog. There's been an evolution of Taylor. I went from the Gift of Mastery, trying to master myself. Oh my gosh, this should seriously be like something else that I need to like record, but I should probably do this for my YouTube channel. But truly, I went from the Gift of Mastery and like these ideas, right? Very young ideals around mastering myself, to now my Taylorisms blog, which is focused on embracing myself and what it means. Like the Taylorisms is all about all of the isms that make me, right? All of the things that I bring to the table, whether it's being overweight in one season like I am right now and loving my, Twinkies. Actually, I don't eat Twinkies right now because I don't know if they're vegan. I don't think they are because they have cream, but you get the point. Like now I'm in a space where the Taylorisms is all about me truly embracing where I am. While also writing about it. So it's funny to see how you evolve in writing, especially because you go from like, again, ideas and notions of what things should look like to kind of who you are. So I would like to say that my why, and I had to really think about this, my why is I aspire to support women in redirecting their negative energy toward their passion so that they can lead fulfilling lives. So what does that look like? I talked about this when I was on an interview with my mom, actually, around mental health awareness. And I talked a lot, actually. If you haven't seen that, go and check the link in my bio. There's like a mental health awareness talk or something. But she actually interviewed me, and it was around like my mom's last suicide attempt was when I was in the 4th grade. She tried to take her own life and she lived, thank God. But I talked about my experience with just wanting to be a control freak and like all of the things that we look at as negative things. That's my why now. I think I've taken those learnings and turned it into an opportunity to teach myself and hopefully encourage and inspire others to take those things that sort of you look at and you say, man, I wish that was different about me. That's like my ultimate why. I want to inspire people to take what you feel is your negative quality and redirect it towards something positive. So say you're a control freak. Okay, who cares you're a control freak? Put that into being a project manager, right? Manage some projects and control those projects. Say you are, you struggle with anxiety. Okay, well, maybe that's a great opportunity to take that energy that we might see as negative and redirect it toward painting. So you have anxiety, you want things, maybe it's coupled with OCD. I know for me, I struggle a lot with like being anxious and like, I want to do a lot and I want to get a lot done. And if I'm not, I freak out. So how do I redirect my anxiety toward a special project so that I can redirect that energy from something that's draining into something that's positive? So that's my why. I'd love to connect with you all if there's an area of your life where you feel like, man, I'm struggling. Like, how can I come out of this and how can I redirect that energy? That's my why. So, let's see. So I have some questions that I normally ask my guests that I'm going to ask myself. Well, I'll just talk through them. One of the things that I always ask folks that come on Fueled by Faith, and by the way, that series is based around, just so you know, the why of the Fueled by Faith series. I started it because I had come up with this quote many years ago. Our decisions are either fueled by fear or fueled by faith. And I do believe that. And I had somebody challenge me once on that. Like, well, sometimes it's not fueled by fear or faith. But I do believe that everything we think and believe in our actions, the ultimate decisions we make, are fueled by fear or faith. When we really boil it down, like to its finest state, so to speak, our decisions always come down to, fear or faith. So you want to change jobs. You might not change jobs. You convince yourself, oh, well, I didn't change jobs because it didn't make sense. But why didn't it make sense? Because you're probably fueling your decisions through the lens of fear. Even if it does technically have like enough backing to prove that it's truly coming from a place of what makes sense. Like ultimately the reason you're not changing jobs is, let's be honest with ourselves here. The reason we're not changing jobs is because we're afraid of the fact that there might not be something better out there, or we're afraid of how it's going to shake up, our home life or whatever it is. So it's so important. I love you, babes. John's getting kicked off. But yeah, so like ultimately our decisions are fueled by fear or faith. So that's where the Fueled by Fear or Fueled by Faith series comes from. That whole series is around me bringing women on who have made a conscious decision every single day to fuel their decisions by faith and not through the lens of fear. So that's what that's all about. And they've taken risks. They've left maybe corporate America. We're all making decisions based on our fears and our faith. So I'm not judging anybody out here, but okay. So one of the questions that I always ask my guests, share the things that stood out about your childhood and how it relates to your life today. So growing up, I did grow up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I always talk about that because I think it shaped who I am today. I was called the black white girl. I was called the white girl. I was called all types of things. And it was so frustrating to constantly be identified as something other than black just because I spoke standard English, and it was really annoying. So that's probably one thing that stood out about my childhood. And I had great friends. Hi, Gayatri. And then I had some really, really good friends, but it was so frustrating to always feel like I didn't fit in because I didn't quite fit in with the white kids and I didn't quite fit in with the black kids. But I did get along with everybody, which was weird. I wouldn't say that I was popular, but I would definitely say, the guy out there, you said you just woke up to this, welcome. I think your sister's on too. If she is, hi. So yeah, I definitely felt like I didn't quite fit in. And then one other thing that stood out from my childhood was, like I said, I mentioned it earlier with my mom's like attempted suicide. That was really hard for me. And I didn't realize it as a child, but I've been unpacking that as an adult. And then I think that I watched my mom be so independent because my father was not in the picture. Like, he was very inconsistent. So that also played a huge role in just, it's hard, being married and having a husband who like wants to jump in and help me. And, one piece of advice that I'll give everybody is like, when you're in the dating phase, John's mom actually gave us this advice. She said, if there's anything you don't like in your first year of marriage, fix it, because if you don't fix it, or even if there's something you do like, water it and nurture that, because if you don't fix it, then it's really hard to fix later. And I think in our dating phase, or even in the first year of marriage, I was always like, I got it. But it's funny because when we were first dating, John was like very hands-on, and I was just always like, oh my gosh, I got it. And I think I got that from my youth. Like, my mom was a single mom. She had to do everything. So it made me this person who felt like I had to do everything too, or I wasn't showing up. And now I'm realizing like that's not necessary. Like, I don't have to do everything. And it's been good because we've been able to kind of reverse that. Like, John and I he'd be like, let me just help you. I'm like, no, I got it. And like, it was an area of contention, but I think it's helped us now because I'm like, you got it. So that's something I've had to work on. Excuse me. What else? Oh, one of my favorite memories as a child. I'm catching myself off guard, you guys. I don't even remember. Hey, Ebony, I don't even remember adding this question, but one of my favorite memories. I think I always love Thanksgiving, which will lead me into like me being passionate about vegan food. Thanksgiving has always been one of my favorite times, but what's so weird, you guys, quick story time. So Thanksgiving, something bad has always happened to me. Maybe not even bad. It's more like something life-changing has always happened. So when I was, it started when I was 8. When I was 8, I got my tonsils removed. Oh, Ariel, I see you said your baby's teething. Oh, baby. Well, we love you and enjoy. I'll see you soon. Yeah, I'll definitely get you some vegan treats, Ariel, as soon as I'm like done going through this whole like surgery thing with my knee. But yeah, absolutely. Go take care of baby and good luck with teething. So what was I talking about? Oh, Thanksgiving. Sorry. So basically every year around Thanksgiving, November time, from the end of November, something weird always happens to me, like something life-changing. So when I was 8, I got my tonsils removed around Thanksgiving. I know. So I could barely eat. Like, my mom had to like chop up all the turkey for me. I wasn't even allowed to eat turkey, but I begged her and I was like crying over mac and cheese. I'm serious, you guys. Like, Thanksgiving has always been my favorite. And then when I was 9, I got my period. Literally 9 years old. And that was around Thanksgiving. I was at my aunt's house and we were having Thanksgiving, and I went to the bathroom and I was just staying in the bathroom because I was like freaking out. And then I'm trying to see, like every year something happens, like something that's like life-changing. Funny enough, guess who was born on, so Jonah I legally adopted November 13th of 2019. Grant was born November 21st of 2019. Again, always around Thanksgiving. It's so weird. Stuff always happens to me. I've had years where I've gotten into car accidents around Thanksgiving. Like I said, something's always changing. This year, we went vegan November 13th. I think it was November 14th we went vegan. Yeah, Ebony, 9 years old. It's crazy. My mom was 7 when she got her cycle. So that's a little bit about that. Let's see. What else? Oh, life leading up to today. So I'll talk a little bit about my career life leading up to today, my passions. So I'm still in corporate America, you guys. I work as an internal communications manager. I'm learning a lot from this season of life. But my life leading up to today, I would say that I graduated from college. So first I that's a whole nother story. But when I first went away to college, I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. And that was an experience in and of itself. I was there for a semester, but I really couldn't afford school. So I actually applied for the Walt Disney internship, and I got the internship, loved it. It was great, everything, whatever. Went away for a year, worked at Disney for a year, and then realized, oh my gosh, I love it so much, and I can't really afford to go back to college, so I'm going to apply to stay here. So I actually got a job at Disney. I was making like $5 an hour. Just kidding, not $5, but it was literally like $8 an hour. And I was struggling big time. I was eating ramen all the time, charging up credit cards just to survive. It was rough. Like, it was a bad decision, like just bad decision making, but also kind of good because I met a lot of friends there. I think actually, I'm trying to see, I think one of my friends from Disney had joined here. I don't know. If she is here, hi. But yeah, so I was like eating ramen and just trying to survive. And literally I was paying my rent on my credit card. And it's not that I didn't have help. Like, my mom would have helped me, I think, but I just couldn't bring myself to ask for it. And it wasn't her job to bail me out of that, right? Like, that was my decision. So I stayed there, worked at Disney. I was in, like, again, another bad relationship, like from high school through my Disney experience. And I just I made so many bad decisions, I think, when it came to like romantic relationships, because I was just so focused on like getting married and like having that life and building a family, because I came from so much like brokenness in a way. Like, I do think my childhood was good because my mom, even though she struggled, she still was a great mom. But I think I had that missing piece because my dad wasn't in the picture. So that led to me, and funny enough, he and I have built a strong relationship now. So I'm grateful for that. But back then it was very difficult, and we're still building our relationship. So anyway, no worries, Haley, that you lost internet. I'm sure you can pick back up and watch the replay if you have free time. So I know that's funny, free time with kids. So, I ended up working at Disney, went from like bad relationship to the next bad relationship. It only got worse. And then in the final relationship that I was in, he ended up moving here to Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's just funny how like things work out, because when he moved here for school, I ended up saying, oh, you know what? I've been at Disney for 5 years. It's time to move on to a new chapter. And I moved here. So when I got here, I worked at the Free Store Food Bank, which is a local food bank in the the tri-state. So I'm in Ohio, but there's Kentucky and Indiana that are close to Ohio. So great experience. I worked volunteer programming. Absolutely loved my program, working in volunteer, especially coming from like the Disney world. Hey, it looks like one of the former cast members that I knew is also on here. I think it's Chad, maybe. I'm not sure. I think so. So anyway, but it's been like a while, so I'm so removed from Disney. So moral of the story is I worked at the Free Store and loved working in like the serving type of capacity. And so I actually, from that Disney experience, I felt that sense of community, especially first moving to Ohio. Good to see you too. Especially moving from Florida to Ohio and experiencing like a brand new place. Found community here, and then I really didn't like some of the leadership changes that happened, like my direct manager. So I ended up I met a volunteer group. It's funny how things just all come together, but I met volunteers who worked at the company that I work at now, and they were like, oh my gosh, it would be so good for you to like apply for, well, they didn't really say that, but like I met them and they were great, and they talked a lot about the career opportunities. So I ended up finding them when I was looking for a job change, applied, and they remembered me. So that's a little bit about my career background. But again, I don't think that it's more like as much about career as it is about your passions, like what lights you up and what really gets you excited. And like, no matter how much you sit and you do it, you just feel so fulfilled. So that for me is like writing and connecting with other people. Let's see, discuss when I started blogging. Oh, shoot. I said 2016 earlier, you guys. I started blogging. It was actually 2012. So how long is that? Like 8 years? So I've been blogging for a while and I love it. our vegan journey. So November 14th, we decided to choose the vegan lifestyle. John and I had just finished eating actually the best sausage pizza here in Ohio, La Rosa's. Shout out to La Rosa's, you guys. They are so good, and their sausage pizza is delicious. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm always telling John, like, doesn't this taste just like chicken? And he's like, no, it doesn't taste anything like chicken. But I always want things to taste close to it, and now I'm finally coming out of that. Even though I'm like a dedicated vegan, it is hard to not want things to taste like other things. But yeah, we decided to go vegan after eating pizza. Actually, we were eating pizza and we were trying to figure out something to watch. And so my sister-in-law, she had said, you should watch What the Health. And she had told me about that a year before we decided to go vegan. And that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, oh yeah, Stella told us to watch What the Health. And so we watched What the Health, and we were like in a food coma from eating so much pizza, but we were still watching it, and it just sunk in for me. And I was like, I looked at John and he was like asleep, and I said, we're going vegan. And I said, well, you don't have to, but I'm going vegan. Will you do it with me? And he said, yes. So we've been vegan ever since that moment, and we have not tried meat or anything. I mean, I think we've had a few times where somebody has given us meat. Even this was the test for me. This is how I knew it was real. Chipotle had brought me a burrito or some burrito bowl, and it had a few pieces of chicken, and we sat there and I like cried. I was like, I don't want to eat chicken. And we pulled out piece by piece. John actually pulled all of the chicken pieces out for me. So yeah, that's how I know it's real, because I used to love eating Chipotle's chicken and everything else. So I see Bahavni, I see you say, I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't, but yeah, I do too, try to make things taste like meat. It's so hard. Like, it's so hard to like get something. I don't even necessarily think I miss the taste. I think I miss how things would take on the flavor, right? If you season chicken, it would take on the flavor so well. If you season like something like tofu, you have to really let it marinate. And so that's what I think I miss the most. Like, it's not even a matter of the taste of the meat. It's more so just like the flavors that they take on that I miss a little bit. So, but tofu has actually become my favorite. If you guys don't have a tofu press, and you're making tofu regularly, I do recommend you to just buy a tofu press, because since we've gotten one, we will press the tofu down for like a day and a half sometimes, and then we'll season it really well, and it really takes on the flavor. So I just want to put a shout out to tofu. But you guys probably saw my stories. I shared how, like, honestly, using like tofu. I was reading Ebony's comment about jackfruit. Anyway, but you probably saw my stories. I was asking about it making you break out, because I feel like it's made my skin break out a little bit. So we're trying to watch it and just make sure we're not eating too much tofu, because we literally eat soy like every single day. And I know everybody's like, I don't want anything with soy, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, tofu all the time. Ebony, you said your cousin's vegan and she substitutes jackfruit. We tried jackfruit when we first went vegan, and it was a hot mess. I was not a fan. So I tried to make jackfruit barbecue burgers. They were not very good. But maybe it was because we were newly vegan. Gayatri, I know you said Impossible Meat's pretty good and tofu is a great source of protein. Absolutely agreed. I think a lot of the mock meats honestly have great protein content. But it's still processed, so it's like hard to make it. But don't get me wrong, we have Impossible Meat like once or twice a week. I will say, I think I've heard so many vegan folks who are real experts. I'm not a true expert, but I've heard so many people talk about how important it is to like try and stay away from the processed stuff. But it's good to try it. If you're trying to choose a vegan lifestyle, it's good to make it part of your diet in the early stages, right? So that you're not going back to eating meat. It's a good substitute. And yeah, I'm going to have to go back to jackfruit. You guys are talking so much about it. I'm going to have to try it. And since we're already talking about vegan life, one of the questions that came in was around like, what are our favorite snacks? Especially for like with kids. Oh my God, I'm sorry you guys, I'm a little tired. So we eat a lot of popcorn. Honestly, probably too much popcorn. We eat popcorn probably once or twice. No, it's more like once a day, once every other day at the most. So we eat tons and tons of popcorn. And we actually got the Dash popcorn maker. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, because like sometimes you get those like appliances and they're like supposed to work. Well, we got the Dash popcorn maker, and it air pops the popcorn in like I mean, seriously, 3 minutes. It takes 3 minutes, and you just pour the kernels in there. You put the little cup on top, put a little bit of vegan butter on top, and while the popcorn's popping, it's heating the butter. Popcorn pops out, and then you drizzle the butter on top. So if you don't have the Dash popcorn maker, I'll send you the picture of the one that we have. We absolutely love it, and we use it all the time. And it's foolproof, so like if you wanted to have the kids use it, they could do it too, and they wouldn't like get hurt or anything. But yeah, Haley, I see you said beans, peas, and tofu. Yes, and nooch popcorn, absolutely. So if you guys don't know what nooch is, it's nutritional yeast. It's like the shortened term is nooch. And so yes, we put the vegan butter, we put nutritional yeast, nooch, and then we also season it with like onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, smoked paprika. You guys, okay, so we were talking about flavor. If you want to flavor your food well, 2 staples in our house, chili powder and smoked paprika. Not regular paprika, but smoked paprika. That has been like our saving grace and like really truly getting flavor. So that's my 2 cents on that. And then other snacks we have, we love the tree line cheese dip. I know it's not like real cheese, but it tastes very close to like a cheesy dip. And it's like that, you like scoop it. It's like that thicker cheesy. It's not like saucy. It's more like the thicker dip. So really, really good. What else? Our day-to-day eating. Again, we're already talking about it, so I might yawn again. Hi! Okay, sorry, another friend's joining. I'm like, I want to say hi to everybody. So, providing info on day-to-day eating. So, day-to-day eating, usually, so right now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been like down and out with my knee. It's getting better, but we do easy things. So, I make a lot of muffins. Usually like oatmeal muffins, or just like whole wheat muffins with like chocolate chips, or muffins with blueberries. And then so sometimes that's an option. That's a go-to for breakfast with the kids too. It's easy because I can just leave them the muffin and go. I don't have to watch them as much. I'm still worried about like Grant choking. I don't know why. I know it sounds like really probably dumb because he's almost 2, but I still just worry. So I try to watch him a lot. But so muffins for breakfast. And then we also do just egg, a lot of just egg. It is so good. The protein's great. And it tastes so similar to egg, you guys. It's amazing. I never would have thought that I would have been buying just egg. I was grossed out by it at first, but then I tried it and so good. And again, we use the Dash egg maker. I know I'm just like going on and on about Dash, but honestly, like that's another appliance that we have, and it makes the eggs like little Starbucks egg bites. It doesn't taste like the Starbucks egg bites because it's not egg, right? But it's very close. It's easy for grab and go. So we do a lot of the just egg bites. Oh, and their appliances are really cost effective, like affordable. What else do we do for breakfast? Lots of toast, like whole wheat toast. I'll make my breakfast potatoes. So if I ever have a cookbook, wink, wink, probably will have a cookbook at some point. So many projects in the work, you know? So, my breakfast, I almost said it, my secret breakfast potatoes will definitely be in that cookbook. I want to share it with the whole world. They are so good. Even my mom tried them and she's like, these are so good. So that we have a lot of like breakfast potatoes. Oh, I see. LOL. Yeah, our first time making the just egg came out burnt. Yuck, but we love the egg folded ones. Yeah, I'm telling you, try again the actual egg, like in the container. They're really good. You just have to be patient with them. But yeah, so if I ever have a cookbook, I'll definitely have my breakfast potatoes in there because they're good and they're a staple. We'll usually do like breakfast potatoes with fruit. And then we also do, hey, thanks for joining. And then we also do, I just came up with a recipe. We've been eating a lot of pancakes too, because I just came up with a recipe for whole wheat, semi-whole wheat. Like I mix like I'll mix like the whole wheat flour with white flour. And then I'll make my pancake recipe. So, but you don't have to do it that way. You can do it however you want. But that recipe has been a fan favorite. Sometimes we do the Beyond sausages if it's a special occasion. Those little Beyond sausage patties, they are really good, and they really quench the thirst of wanting some real sausage, breakfast sausage. They have the patty ones, and they also have the links. Both of them are really good. Let's see. Okay, we got to get off of eating, you guys, because I'm getting hungry. What problems do I want to solve? I always ask this to my guests, so we might have to do this in 2 parts. I'm a talker. It's easy for me to not talk as much when I'm interviewing others. So how do people, problems I want to solve. So there are 3 for me. And I realized this in like prepping for this interview. 3 problems I want to solve in the world are how people in general, especially minority communities, experience and appreciate food. We're always talking about the experience of food, and like we think about birthday celebrations, and so that means we need to eat, or Christmas and we need to eat, and Thanksgiving we need to eat. Like, but what about the day-to-day eating? Like, what does that look like? And why can't we experience and enjoy food while also practicing balance and moderation? So that's what I would like to solve, one thing. So how do minority communities experience food? You know, when you think about the Black community specifically, when you think about the Black community specifically, we've struggled with like soul food and like greasy food, and it doesn't come from Black people just wanting to eat fried chicken. It comes from deep-seated racism, honestly, through slavery. Like, you know, the Black community, they were enslaved. They did not eat like this. And so that was something that was taught through slavery. Like, we took a lot of times, I wasn't there, but my ancestors took the scraps that they were given and then made that into made it into a meal. So it's beautiful and it's part of the culture, but it doesn't mean that needs to be the end all be all. Like, we can find healthier options. So that's one thing. I want to change the way minority communities look at and experience food and how we appreciate it. Like, food can be a beautiful thing in moderation. And the other thing is I want to also, help motivate women in how they show up and embrace their fullest lives. So as women, we're always putting ourselves on the back burner, whether you have kids or don't, whether you have a husband or don't, it doesn't matter. Like, we have this nurturing part of us in our bodies that says, I need to care for other people. Maybe not all of us, I don't want to generalize, but most of us do, even in the smallest ways. Even the most selfish woman wants to nurture, right? Oh, Lisa, thank you. And Ebony, I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. That makes me happy. It's so weird for me to be like just talking to you guys. Nobody's talking back. So I'm glad you guys are commenting. But yeah, Ebony, you're right. And it is how we come together as a Black community. Everything turns into like being about food. But like, what if we taught our kids to go out and play soccer or go out and do something physically active? That means we're gathering. Like my friend Ariel, who was on here earlier, like she lives here in Ohio, and like she'll go out she'll come over and like we'll go for a walk. You know, that's what it's all about. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. So, okay. So, and then the third thing, I was talking about women. So like we're always nurturing others, so it's so important. Oh, I love that, Gayatri. What good is a heart that doesn't beat for others? Yes, it's true. Our hearts should beat for others, but it's also so important for us to be able to like pause and know, like, if our heart's beating for others, is there a way for us to do both? Have our hearts beat for others, but also feel our heartbeat? And I say that to say, like, my heart beats for other people, but I'm also being fulfilled by writing, right? Man, that should be one of my quotes. John's always laughing at me, you guys, because we'll have a conversation. I'm like, ooh, that's good. I should make that a quote. He's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, our hearts can beat for us and for others. So how do we find a way to meet in the middle where we can inspire others while also feeling fulfilled in our gifts? And then the third thing I aspire to do is to inspire others to live in their authentic selves. So a lot of us are showing up, especially in corporate America. I even experience and struggle with this. I was telling Gayatri, she's a colleague of mine and now turned bestie, but I was telling her, like, you know, it's hard showing up in corporate America all the time, and like, you want to be completely true to yourself, but there's also a certain part of you that like can't, right? Because it's business processes that need to happen. And it's sometimes business first versus people first. So that's my ultimate mission. I think you can see all of these like 3 key areas fall under people first. Thanks, Ebony. You're so sweet. Okay, so the other things that I have going on. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. Okay, let me be quick because I know we're running out of time. Share about my upcoming surgery. So I have surgery tomorrow, you guys. I might be a little bit MIA from social media, or maybe I'll share all about it. I'll be honest, like the 10 pounds that I lost doing my Beachbody workout program, I gained them back, and it was pretty disappointing. It's been kind of a depressing time. You guys see me posting regularly and commenting on things and like trying to show up, but like John has been here with me when I'm like crying, right? Because I'm like, I want to be able to move around. Like I can't even, like, there was a period where I couldn't even pick up Grant, and it like broke me up because I was just like, man, I can't pick him up. Or like sitting at the table with Jonah to draw and do fun things, like, oh, thank you so much. But like sitting at the table with Jonah, like trying to draw and have fun with him, like I could only sit there for so long, like because it hurts too bad. So I'm really excited to get back to normal and like be able to work out. And I know you guys are right. I do need to give myself grace, but it is so hard when you get back into the swing of things and you're so inspired. But like, how do we show up when we don't have everything we need, even when we have the inspiration, right? Or when we feel like something's taken from us. So surgery's tomorrow. Can't wait to get it over with. What else? So there's that. I'll keep you guys posted. And then, some of my favorite shows and podcast recommendations. So one of my favorite shows right now is actually on Netflix, and it's called Manifest. You might have seen one of my posts about it. NBC Manifest. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix, and then the 3rd season's on Hulu. So you see how they get you? Thank you guys for the prayers. But yeah, Manifest is so, so good. I see the correlation between, there's just so many things. You have to watch it. It's really, really good. And it shows like how we don't live in just a physical world. There's so much that's going on. For me, it's God. Like, I believe in God. And if you don't, that's fine. I love you anyway. Like, it's not a huge deal. Well, I mean, it is. But I'm just saying, like, I'll love you no matter what you believe. But for me, it's God. And so Manifest is just so good because it honestly connects us back to, and they don't even call it God necessarily in the show, but like, you see the connection between our physical bodies and the spiritual world. And so for me, when I connect it back to God. But we'll see. Tell me what you get out of it if you watch it. And then, so that's my show recommendation. And then my favorite podcast right now, you guys are probably going to think I'm nuts, but I love Crime Junkies. I don't know if anybody listens to Crime Junkies on Apple Podcasts. I'm sure there's other podcast outlets that you can listen to. But Crime Junkies is so good. And the thing that's sad about it is it's kind of, they share true crime stories about things that are happening. And it makes you think, like, I started getting a little bit, John was like, oh my gosh, Taylor, like, you're going to need to like pause on watching Crime Junkies. Hey Suzanne. So you're going to need to pause on Crime Junkies because it's on. Like, I was getting to the point where I was like, are our doors locked? Can you check the windows? Like, legit. He was like, I'm like, I need you to check the windows again. Are you sure you checked the windows? Are you sure, like, you locked the front door? Like, I was going off the deep end. So I've actually been taking a pause from listening to too much Crime Junkies, because you do have to guard like what you're listening to and what you're watching. But Crime Junkies has definitely been my favorite. Ebony, yes, you need to listen to it, but in moderation. I was listening to like 3 and 4 episodes a day, listening to it while I was taking a shower, listening to it when John was home, when he wasn't home, and I was freaking myself out, like checking all the windows. Somebody would knock on the door, I wouldn't even answer. Like, it was because it's true crime. It's not like a fake show that you watch and you're like, oh, that could happen. Like, no, this did happen. So I'm recommending it, but with caution. Proceed with caution. Okay, last few questions. What piece of advice would you give to someone who's new to the vegan lifestyle? Didn't prep an answer for this. I think my piece of advice would be, I hear a lot of people talk about how, like, ease into it. Like, don't just jump right in. Do whatever you want. Like, that's my piece of advice. So many people talk about, like, ease into things. And for me, it's like, if you know yourself and you're self-aware and you think, I can go vegan today and never eat meat again, then do it. That's what I did, and I'm not going to be eating meat again. You know, I'm not turning back. But if you're kind of wavering, trust that too. Say, hey, I'm going to eat meat on Mondays and Wednesdays, and on the rest of the days of the week, I won't eat meat. Like, do whatever feels good to you. And I know it's such a cliche and like generic answer, but that's my advice. If you want to go vegan, try it out. See how it feels. And don't take your body's response or like taste buds. Like, I think that's actually my piece of advice. Like, don't judge a book too soon, right? Don't read the first page and then say, ugh, this isn't for me. Because I think if I would have done that, like the first couple days of vegan eating, I was like, what the hell? I'm not going to lie. I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, this is not for us. But then I had to continue because of my strong convictions on the industry of how mass farming is and the mass production of, just animals. It's sad. Like, it's cruelty first. And then for me, it's the health effects and then the environment. I know that sounds bad that I put the environment last, because if the environment doesn't thrive, we don't thrive. But I'm not going to lie, I've never been a huge environmentalist. So, and I'm getting there though. Like, I've started buying vegan makeup, like skincare products. I've started purchasing. I think if I get clothes, I'll probably start getting like vegan clothing too. I don't really shop and buy clothes. Like, I've had the sweater. You probably see me in the sweater 1,000 times. I wear it all the time. But when I do buy clothes, I have been looking at the tags more. And like I said, skincare stuff, I'm using vegan products now. So that's really cool. So yeah, but I'm becoming more of an environmentalist. That's the thing. Veganism is a lifestyle. So many people talk about the food aspect, but it's so much more about like how you show up. You might have heard me share this story, but at Easter, Jonah got an Easter. My family's getting loud. I gotta hurry up. So at Easter, Jonah got an Easter basket from the Easter Bunny. Another quick story. And when he got that basket, he went through all this stuff, because this was our first Easter, this past Easter, being vegan. He went through all the stuff, and he got tons of toys, like small toys from like the Easter Bunny. And he goes through all these like activity books and toys and all these things. And then he gets to like closer to the bottom of the basket, and he pulls out a candy bar. And when he pulls it out, he looks at it and he's like, oh my gosh, the Easter Bunny brought us candy. And he looks at the back and he reads the label and he says, oh my gosh, and it's vegan. And like, that's what it's all about for me. Like, for me, that's what it's all about. It's about the fact that like, we're teaching our kids to read the fine print. We're teaching our kids to read the labels. And so many, like, I'll be honest, my mom did the best she could, but I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught to like read the labels. And the fact that he did that proved that like, we're on the right path. So for me, that's what it's all about. It's about the lifestyle of checking the labels, reading the fine print. Share about a big project I'm working on. So I have a few, actually, you guys. So I have a few brand collaborations, which is exciting. I've had a few that are like gifts from brands. And then I've had some that are like collabs. None that are really paid partnerships, more so them like sending me stuff to try. So I'll have some cool recipes coming soon. Hopefully I recover from my knee stuff soon so I can actually get the recipes up. And I'll be doing some more product reviews. If you're not in my newsletter, like if you haven't plugged into my newsletter, the link is in my bio. If you feel like it, if you feel moved to subscribe to the newsletter, that's usually where I'll send product recommendations as well. So you don't have to waste time or money looking for a product. Cause I'm telling you, my taste buds are on fleek. Do people still say on fleek? Remember back in the day, they used to say like on fleek. Okay, so my taste buds are good. That's what that means. What else? And then I have a Fueled by Faith interview. I posted about that. It's next Thursday, and it's with Carol. She is a nutritionist, and she's a registered nutritionist and dietitian, and she's fantastic. Like, she really knows her stuff. I look at her stuff a lot. I actually reference it a lot when I'm trying to figure out what I want to make for dinner. So she's really, really good. And then I have another Fueled by Faith interview with somebody who was actually featured on Bob's Red Mill's Instagram. She is really awesome. She's in the vegan space as well. So I've been making some great connections on here. Do I have a favorite quote or mantra that I live by? Again, it's my own. I'm not a narcissist, I promise, but it is one of my favorites. After you're inspired, become an inspiration. I live by that. If I learn something, I try to share it. After you feel inspired and pumped about something, whether it's working out or whether it's how you show up as a mom, or whether it's, going for a walk, like whatever inspires you and gets you pumped, share that inspiration with other people because they need it. We all need to share the encouragement. It's the circle of life, but it's the circle of inspiration too. And how can people connect with me? Connect with me here on IG. I'm always here. I also have a blog, which I mentioned earlier. Thanks, babes. I love you. My husband's the best. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so share how people can connect with me. right here on IG. You're already doing it. You're doing a great job. High five to you. And then also my blog. I'd love for you guys to check out some of my blog posts. It's www.taylorisms.org. That's also a great place, Gaia 3. Oh, she is. Oh, he is. Yeah. So yeah, definitely connect with me here on Instagram. I appreciate all the support. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reel I posted like 5 seconds before this live, I was like almost ripping my hair out. John's so funny. He was standing in here and he's like, by the time you get the reel going, you're going to be like, you don't love me anymore. Like, just completely in hysteria as I was like losing it, you guys. Oh, thanks, Gaia 3. I think it's going to be it's more of a procedure, you guys. It's not quite a surgery. They're calling it a surgery. It seems like it's more of a procedure. They're basically going to do 2 incisions, open up my knee and stick a camera in there so they can see how bad it is, and then just clean it up because I tore a couple things in there and there's loose things moving around. So hopefully I'll be able to like work it out. Okay. And yeah, that's it. That's me. I appreciate you all for joining. That's everything. I know we ran over time. Thanks to those of you who stayed through this, and to anyone watching on the replay. Feel free to reach out anytime if you have questions. If anyone has questions, I'll pause for 2 seconds and then I'll take those questions real quick. Okay, it doesn't look like you guys have any questions. Well, thanks for connecting, and I appreciate you all, and this was so much fun. It's kind of weird though, because like I can't hear you, like I said, but I'm sure you're saying good things, hopefully. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Ebony, I love learning about you too. Thanks for joining. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your week. Bye. I know it's evening in Singapore right now and in India, so have a great evening. Or wait, no, it's evening my time. It's morning your time. Sorry. Good morning, Gaia 3. So anyway, bye you guys.